Alrighty then, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome one and all. My name is Michael, I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to our session of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Curse of the Crimson Throne, a 2nd Edition adventure being played with a 1st Edition module. Joining me today are my wonderful players, who are my Patreons, who help support the channel, keep my lights on, and allow me to continue eating solid food. Welcome one and all, greet the folks at home, guys!
Hello.
Hello,
Folks at home.
Yay! All right, now, we've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to power through our introductions as quick as I can. Guys, let's start off by thanking some other people who help keep our Dead Aussie Gamer alive here, with our shout-out to our sponsors, starting with none other than Hero Forge for the wonderful artwork that you can see on stream, as well as the art of the individuals who are not appearing on camera. 3D models, go check it out. You can get them printed. Then, of course, we have Sirenscape. Sirenscape has noises that, you know, go beep in the night and boop and all these other noises. Noises like this one. There you go. Guess what noise that was? That was the sound of a thunder wave. I'll do it again just so you guys can hear it again. Hua! Boom, there it is. Sirenscape is great, helps immerse your game, and you can definitely elevate your own gameplay by including it into your own repertoire. Then, of course, Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds are VTT of choice. It has tokens, it has maps, it has a whole bunch of things. It's got dice rollers, it's got all the cool stuff. So yeah, go check out Fantasy Grounds because they're cool as well. Then, of course, we have our lovely players. These are the people who actually make me look good on stream because they are the ones who are throwing their creativity into the big old ring to help navigate these heroes of adventure through the tale that we are telling, starting with none other than Twiff, who plays the role of the rootin' shootin' gun tootin' Padrig, a spell slinger who was from an academy in Corvosa, who was dishonored for being framed for a murder, then kind of sort of maybe proven that he was in fact innocent, but he was still banished because the queen had outed his family, and in order to protect him, things were kind of lined up to send him on his way, but they found him and assassins came after him, as did his fiancée, who ended up marrying some asshole who turns out to be a Rakshasa, who is also trying to destroy his family, and Padrig is now trying to keep his shit together. That's Twiff. Everyone say hi to Twiff. There we go. Cool. Then we've got Holly.
Dated.
What's that?
She wasn't my fiance. We never dated.
She wanted to marry you. Just saying. Then of course, then we have Holly, who of course is an heir to a royal fairy throne, who is supposed to be married to a evil fae known as Puck, in order to merger a peace in the fairy kingdoms. However, she abandoned it in order to pursue a life of freedom and joy and whimsy in the mortal realm in Corvosa. Upon doing that, she met this group of adventurers, started adventuring. Eventually, when the plague hit caused by the evil Queen Iliosa, she sold her soul literally to the devil and became a cleric of Asmodeus in order to try and save the orphanage. In doing so, she has gone through a journey of discovery, learning more and less at the same time about her worship of Asmodeus, while trying her best to keep this group alive and healthy and happy. However, very recently, Puck, the fiancé, has arrived with an army of gargoyles in order to try and attempt to drag Holly back, not for marriage, but for execution, because now the royal family has been killed, and Puck and his family have taken over by force. After the intervention by a large dragon, Puck has left to return to the fairy kingdoms and has vowed revenge on Holly and their family. Oh, well, and Holly specifically. So there's that. And this wonderful character is played by our friend Malakiza.
Hello, and it's Jack, not Puck. Jack killed Puck.
Sorry. Yeah, he killed Puck. That's right. Jack killed Puck. I forgot about that. Yeah. All right. Then we have playing the role of Quinn, an investigator who had run a small practice of a detective agency through the town of Corvosa and had worked hard to know people in high places and low, operating in and around the city in order to try and do all the good that she could do. She ended up joining with the group in order to investigate a number of these strange oddities that occurred, including the murder of the previous emperor, who she found out was none other than the queen herself in order to try and curry her own power within the city. In a bid to try and prove and depose the queen, Quinn has joined up with allies in order to do so. But more importantly, she has shown time and time again that her resourcefulness, skill with the blade, and constant and unrelenting valor has proven her worthy of another title, and that is the title of Blackjack, the vigilante dispenser of justice to those of the people of the city of Corvosa. Bequeathed to her by the previous Blackjack, a friend and ally known as Vencalo Osiriani, who is the swordmaster of Corvosa. This wonderful and incredible character is played by our dear friend, Ayurjanasi.
Hello, everyone.
Yay! Then, of course, we have Dante, a kitsune druid who hails from the surrounding areas outside of Corvosa, who found out that a friend of his became addicted to drugs perpetrated by none other than Gadrin Lamb, a drug dealer within the city. Dante ended up saying goodbye to his dear friend after an overdose and has vowed ever since in order to bring peace and remove the drug trade from the city of Corvosa. But this has been difficult, with the queen constantly trying to ensure the downfall of the lower class areas, and so Dante has set it upon himself now instead to not only remove the drug trade, but also this evil despot from her throne, joined by, of course, their allies here. Yes, and this wonderful character is played by Rykon.
Hello.
Next to join this group is a citizen of Corvosa, Agnes, a former Varisian fortune teller who had left her life of wandering after the birth of her daughter and the death of her late husband. She spent her life raising her child in the city of Corvosa, but things have gotten too awry. The city is no longer safe for her child, and she has now dusted off her old harrow deck and gone back to her old ways, looking and adventuring and seeking means in order to restore peace to her land and hopefully find a new chapter in her life, one that features both adventure and romance, preferably with a fisherman named Dan. And this psychic character is played by Agnes. This psychic character, Agnes, is played by Laura Bones.
Hello.
Yay.
Evening, folks.
And last, certainly not least, we have playing the role of Alexander, the Hell Knight Order of the Gate, is none other than Marcus the GM. Marcus the GM. Marcus the Storyteller. Alexander is relatively new, so still little is known about Alexander, other than he is in fact a Hell Knight from the Order of the Gate, which means he is a arbitrator of justice at the hands of oracles who predict the future and stop crime before they happen. However, beyond his duties, he has now put down his vows in order to try and ensure his hometown of Corvosa remains safe, as well as his sister, an ally to the group known as Cressida Croft, the current, as far as they know, guardsman in charge of the city of Corvosa's guard. But Alexander has yet to return back to his home and find anything out, but is hoping that by traveling with the group, he'll be able to do that in no short amount of time. Learning about the queen and all of the evil that is there, Alexander realizes that the chances are that fate has thrust him into a destiny that he must fulfill, helping these heroes and deposing the queen as well. Marcus, good to see you as always.
Hello.
Yay. Okay. Next up, donations. Guys, we would not be here at the Daniels Gamer channel if it is not for your donations. As you guys can see, we are currently working towards Eurodag fundraising, which has been steady and ongoing. You guys are so supportive and so amazing, and we continually try to provide you guys with means to play and participate in the games while we are doing stuff. Firstly, those of you who are watching, there are channel points to be used. Anyone who watches who is a subscriber, you earn channel points quicker. They are things like inspiration, insight bonuses, divine intervention, wandering monsters, wandering encounters, tons of cool stuff there. So yeah, go check those out. For those of you who have monetary means to support the channel, we invite you to do so, obviously responsibly at the same time as generously. And there are some more tangible results for monetary donations. For $5, you can donate to one of these little to one of these players for a red mark, or me to these purple marks, which I don't have. Red marks are hero points that can be used to stave off death, petition the GM for nonsense that isn't in the rules, or roll with advantage. Purple marks can be used for bad guys to roll with advantage, for bad guys to counter hero points and to complicate things ever so slightly. For $10, I will draw from 2 decks of cards. That's right, 2 decks of cards. The first deck will either be a heroic action deck, which is this one here, that will allow you to give a free heroic action / hero point to a player of your choosing. Or I will draw from a deck of plot twists, which have a bunch of really cool story prompts that I will use and incorporate into the session as I am playing. Then we have our $20 donation, which is a natural 20, which is these little golden marks here, because sometimes you need shit to work. For $50, you can donate to give a magic item to a player of your choice. This can be a item that you create as a homebrew item, and I create and throw it into the game. It could be a custom magic item that my players get from me that I will create as part of a set, or you can give them something from their wish list that allows them to do stuff. Alternatively, if you woke up and chose violence, you can use that $50 to make an encounter more difficult. This is a big boost to the encounter, making either the terrain more difficult, upping the ante and the stakes, making the monster even tougher. There's a ton of cool stuff that'll happen there. And lastly, the $100 secret menu item. Patrick and Quinn, these 2 characters, these beloved characters, will be leaving us after today's session. The $100 secret menu item will be a custom homebrew magic item made for both Patrick and Quinn to bequeath to whomever they choose in the group upon their farewell. How they come upon these items and why they bequeath them we'll talk to each of them at that point, but these are items that will represent them, their abilities, their powers, the things that they have learned and grown and brought about along the way, and they will, leave these in the capable hands of our heroes to have something to continually remember them and to have these 2 wonderful characters continue to contribute and be a part of this adventure, even if the characters physically can't be. So there you go. Let's just do some donations real quick here. We have Schoolie coming in with the big old $75 donation. Thank you, Schoolie. We have the second and third plot twist, which we will do here. Our first plot twist was Unseen Obstacle, so we're going to throw that to the side. We then have Arch Enemy. All right. Arch enemy. Agnes, it is Doris, your neighbor, the one who always, beats you at the pie eating contest. She has now somehow made it to the middle of the Cinderlands with, like, a bunch of pies. And the third one is called Snitch. So you've got Arch enemy and a Snitch. That is going to be interesting. All right. 2 hero points for Alexander. So let's get those hero points in there real quick. Here we go. Hero points. Alexander. Boop, boop. Done. And we have 1 Jinx point and 2 natural 20s for Daggerino. Yay! 1, 2. 1 and 2. There we go. All right. Done and done. Then we have another donation, a big old $25 from our friend McClover, you bloody legend, you, for 3 hero points for Dante, 1 hero point for Patrick, and 1 hero point for Agnes, which I believe locks and loads us with our hero points. So thank you so kindly, McClover. All right. Cool. I think we're good, right?
Sounds like it.
All right, good. Because I'm not doing that intro again. All right. Without any further ado, we return once again back to the Cinderlands. After our heroes managed to fulfill the request from the Fortune Dragon, a request to ensure the successful pregnancy of the dreaded Cindermore, which you managed to protect the creature from an attack by a large tyrannosaur. Our heroes tiredly return back to the Flame Forge and the Sun Shaman's home. Upon arriving, you are greeted by a tired and weary town. But there is joy to be had. For in the wake of the battle against the Red Mantis and the Gargoyle, you see, cresting over the edge of a nearby hill, the Sun Shaman has returned. Having communed with the ancestors, he finally has his answer. Our heroes will receive everything they ask for. The story, the true story of the dragon whose power now corrupts the Queen of Corvosa. Before we begin, Padraig, Quinn, Agnes, Alexander, Dante, and Holly, you were brought before the Sun Shaman's yurt. Krogan steps forward on your behalf and tells the Sun Shaman of all your exploits, all you did to protect the people here. Agnes, your ex-boyfriend, does the same, claiming that his life would not still be spared had it not been for your intervention. And many of the children who were rescued by Tyrannosaur Holly also speak and scream her praise. The shaman then says the least they could do is, of course, accept Alexander with such high recommendation and invite you to also sit. It has been some time since this story was told. If you have questions, ask them. For if Kazavron remains in any way, and you truly seek to battle him, then you will need every advantage you may get. Many hundreds of years ago, a man named Mandravis gathered a small group of heroes to fight a despotic blue dragon named Kazavron. My ancestors were one who joined this crusade. This ancestor, a shaman named Amorund, was gone for months. When she finally returned, she was not the same woman. Her hands shook. Her eyes carried a haunted stare, and she screamed out in fear during the night. She spoke little of what she had experienced while fighting by Mandravis' side, but did say that they were successful in defeating Kazavron, and the dragon's fortress of Scarwall in the lands of Belkson was now under Mandravis' control. He pauses to see if any of you have any questions about this section.
Do we
Who
know?
was this Mandravis again? Sorry.
You recognize the name Mandravis, but not from where until he mentions that he was a knight. Then you recall Mercutio, your skeletal champion friend, who, when he was traveling with you before his untimely re-demise, spoke of Mandravis as someone he had fought beside against the great dragon Kazavron.
And do we know anything about this fortress? the
Anyone who
land
wishes to
anything.
may make a knowledge. Actually, go society check.
Side check. I will do so.
All right.
29.
All right. With a 29, Quinn and Patrick. The two of you know Scarwall is a... It is not a easy thing to describe. It is a castle fortress that is constantly changing owners' hands. Belkson is not really a united nation. A series of warlords continually vie for power, raging across the lands owned by the orcs. And Scarwall is known for this because the walls surrounding the fortress are continually marred with the signs of battle. And there is never really enough time to build the ramparts and the walls to be more secure than they are before another attack occurs and a new owner takes over. It's quite a famous location.
Would Agnes know any more with the nat 20 and a 39? Or is that all there is to know?
I will tell you this. I will say that you know who is currently in charge, but I will tell you that when I know who is currently in charge.
Okay, got you.
A little bit further in the adventure than I'm at. So, but yes, I will say that you are aware of who is currently in charge. They are orcs for sure, but yes. Also, it's haunted.
just
Oh,
had to throw that last little bit there. Just
Why not?
Of course it is. Why not?
that's all right. You've got a wee ghost expert.
The shaman continues. While Kazavron has been defeated, his will to live was so immense that even the remains of his body twitched when sundered. The heroes attempted to destroy the remains, but key fragments of the dragon's skeleton resisted even their most destructive spells. Mandravis tasked the 7 surviving heroes, among them Amund, with each claiming one bony relic of Kazavron's body and taking them far from Scarwall. None of the 7 would communicate where they were going to the others, or to Mandravis, in hopes of ensuring their chosen relic would remain hidden and guarded for all time to prevent the dragon from returning to life. Amund then told this story to her fellow shaman and revealed her selected relics were the dragon's fangs, called the Midnight Teeth. She and the shaman, close to the ancient pyramids on the shores of Conqueror's Bay, as the fangs of the reliquary, hiding them in a secret room deep within the pyramid. Amund and her descendants swore to ensure the fangs would remain safe, and for generations they maintained that task. He goes quiet until Cheliax invaded and drove the Shawanti off from those lands. The few survivors who knew the secret of the fangs were forced to flee with their kin to the Cinderlands, and for the next 3 centuries, the knowledge was passed from Sun Shaman to Sun Shaman. And we have watched with fearful eyes as the city of Corvosa grew around our ancient reliquary.
You're saying that they're under our feet the whole time?
He nods.
Oh, for
Yeah, I was having that same thought, Agnes.
yeah,
Okay, so
not a-
right, one question. Is it possible for these relics to have an effect on someone? Could they have influenced the queen in some fashion? Or do you think that perhaps the relics have already been unearthed?
Everyone but Alexander recounts the queen when last you saw her.
I'm thinking that she's got a hold of them. I don't know what else would allow her to pluck an arrow from her eye.
Absolutely. A hold of them and using them actively.
Right, but I mean, Casabron wants to take control himself, so something must be preventing. I can't imagine he forever wants to be under the sway of some queen.
Is he under her sway, or is she
All right.
under his?
Well, we don't know.
All right. You recognize that she was wearing a crown, one that you did not see on the previous emperor. A crown of fangs. If you had to guess, you would say that along the line somewhere, the rulers of Corvosa forged a crown from the very fangs of Krasavron, which now adorn Ilios's head. If what the Sun Shaman says is true about how fierce its will and life force is, placing the crown upon the queen's head could just be the start of Khazavron taking command of the queen.
Whenever it was made, by whomever it was made, we don't know how long this thing has been kicking around in some treasury somewhere until she decided to put it on. I would
And
say,
also, is there any chance of her eventually ending up, back in a dragon body again? Because that would be terrifying.
This is
that would be.
a possibility.
Oh, great. Right.
To resurrect Khazavron, would she need the rest of the pieces of him?
He thinks for a moment. If all united, possibly. However, there may possibly be a way to destroy the queen. Oh, sorry, queen. The crown. Each piece of Khazavron's soul was nigh indestructible. So what were to happen if one piece collides with another? What happens if you were to destroy the crown with something else forged from the very bones of Khazavron? Quinn.
So,
You begin to remember your long distant past. You recount being on Eel's End, chasing down what looks to be a serial purse snatcher. Let me just get through here real quick. There we go. All right. Quinn, you race through the city, darting left and right and trying your best to avoid people as this purse snatcher wearing a mask seems to be covered up. Can I get you to make me an acrobatics check as you weave your way through the crowd?
absolutely. 14.
14? All right. You hop over several landings, jump past several jump past several stalls. People are yelling out, "Hey, watch it!" as you manage to slip, move, and maneuver your way around. Every now and then knocking some fruit to the floor and the like. Make a perception check as you continue to try and keep track of this young rapscallion. 19 super easy. As you follow them through the narrow walkways, they make their way through some laundry, which they then try to pull off their lines to use as cover. How do you want to try and get past these lines?
Can I just grab them and push them down so that I step over?
Yes. You grab them and snatch them out of the air, stepping over them as best you can. I'll have another acrobatics check, please, as you continue to surge forward.
All right. 16.
Nice. All right. Eventually, you corner this young person. He looks around. He's probably about maybe 16, 17 years old. He's looking to try and climb the side of the wall, but it's too steep and it's too sheer. You'll finally caught him, and as he turns, you see he's got like 4 or 5 different coin purses tucked into his shirt as he is looking at you.
Now, there's no need to panic. I just need you to hand over the goods that you've taken.
Make a diplomacy check. He
31.
he does not want any trouble. He looks around. There is no escape. He drops the stuff that he has, and he then, now with his hands free, begins to try and climb the wall.
Can I tell if he's dropped everything he's taken or...
He's dropped everything he's taken.
All right, so I'll collect the objects.
All right, so you're
with the
letting him go?
intention-
You can let him go if you want.
I was going to, yeah.
Okay.
Because he's a kid.
All right. He climbs over the roof, and he looks back down at you before leaving. As you start picking... Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Don't do it again. It's a bad way of trying to sustain yourself.
He hears these words and stops on the roof as he's leaving, and then continues to run.
Okay.
At this point, you hear a voice coming from behind you. You know they're never going to listen to you. As you recognize the voice of Badham behind you. Folks like this, they don't really, do the whole turning a new leaf thing. As
old
you
scoundrel.
Scoundrel, is that any way to talk to your old friend? The halfling
young
dressed in
enough.
bright yellow smirks at you as he lights up a pipeweed pipe. Well, it's good to see you still getting a bit of work.
Yeah, I do okay for myself. He's young. I have
Guy, well,
hopes.
that's how they usually get him. Get him while they're young. I mean, my
Yeah, I
old
guess
man
you're
had me slinging curses, before I was out of diapers.
So you just happen to be here right now for
What,
anything in particular?
Oh, look, what, a man can't swing by and, come and visit his old friend?
Oh, of course you can. But
Yeah, and if-
usually when you...
I mean, and if maybe that friend might have some, some juicy tidbits and maybe wants a favor for them, I mean, like, who's to say that that's exactly a bad thing either?
All right, what do you have in mind? What are you talking about?
Well,
Why are you here?
look, I may have heard a rumor that there's something to do with all these spooky, ghosty, hobgoblin type things where maybe I know of someone who's been seeing visions of the future, she say. And she mentions a couple of names in very particular detail. What if I were to tell you that your name had come up in said ramblings of this future tellings?
I'd be curious.
I bet you
Certainly.
would. Well, look, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where to get this information, and you help me with a favor sometime down the track. Something, no questions asked. What do you say?
I have been burned by that kind of deal with you in the past.
Oh, look, that was just the one time, and look, your leg's healed fine.
I limped for 5 months.
Well, I mean, if you're not curious, he turns very coyly. You know the game he plays.
All right, sure, I'll take it. What's the deal?
He says, "There's an old Varisian woman. I say an old Varisian woman. There's a Varisian woman, in the middle of town. Says she's a fortune teller or something like that. Anyway, on occasion they work as a cleaner in one of the royal houses. She told me that there was this guy, this noble person's daughter, who was starting to see visions of dragons and hellfire and all this sort of wily nonsense, and then started singing this crazed up song. But every now and then, she'd recite a series of names, almost like she was chanting a mantra. I don't make sense of it. I don't understand any of it. But one of the words stuck out, and that was, of course, Quinn. Because, well, not many people have such a unique name. Or at least, no one at least with an inquisitive mind, shall we say. Here's the
You
address.
don't remember. Okay.
He hands you a folded up pamphlet.
All right. I look at it.
All right. It is in it is in one of the higher end districts of Corvosa. As we return, oh my God, it's been so long. As we go back to the map,
It's true. It has been a long time.
it has. It is in. Is it Northgate? Yeah, or maybe Highbridge. Patrick, where do you live?
Hybrid sounds Tony.
You like I remember that.
That's fair. All right, let's go with let's go with Five Corner. Yeah, the bank's near Five Corner. So yeah, let's say you're in five. You're near Northgate, near Five Corner, somewhere in that that region. Taking Bad Ham's advice, you begin to make your way down there. Meanwhile, Patrick, you are at home in your noble house. You are currently prepping and getting ready for your first day at the academy. As you do so, how are you preparing?
So Patrick would be making sure he has all of his books packed, everything that he needs, for going into the dorms, going over, his list that he probably got for this is what you need for your first day. Just generally rechecking, making sure he's got everything tidied away. Probably a little pacing.
Mm-hmm. Your father
Fingers going.
knocks on the door. Patrick? Actually, sorry, what was your original name?
Oh, fuck yes. I don't remember that either.
I mean, until we figure it out,
starting with a B.
I'm gonna call you Beltazard until we figure out what your name is.
All right. Yeah. No, that was so long ago, and I think I lost where it was written down.
All right.
This is to my old character.
Oh yeah, fair. Beltazard, are you decent?
Yes, father. Yes.
He opens the door and strides in, a bold and proud individual. I must say, I am fiercely proud of you, son. To be accepted into such a prestigious academy, one that is very closely tied with our good name. I am truly happy to see that you are taking your arcane studies seriously.
Thank you, father.
Yes, the days of gallivanting around the gardens and suckling at the teat of your privilege is now over. You will become your own man. And I cannot wait to see the industry you forge for yourself in the days to come.
Certainly, father.
Now, before you go, I have something for you. Place out your hand.
Balthazar will put his hand out.
He presents you with a quill. A quill with a scintillating colored, almost like a scintillating prismatic colored feather emblazoned into it.
Patrick will look at it, admire it, get a feel for it in his fingers, the proper grip. This is extraordinary. Thank you, Father.
You're most welcome.
So, would he be able to detect any sort of magic at this point?
There's definitely magic on it.
Yeah.
It
This
is a
is,
pen that specifically has the ability to scribe scroll. So while using that pen, you have the scribe scroll feat.
Sweet. This will be very useful. I appreciate the gift, Father.
Good. Well, best be off. I have work to do. Good luck today.
Of course.
And he
Thank
leaves. He does not hear you say thank you or goodbye. Your father is a that way kind of inclined man.
Yep.
However, your intention is to go to school, but not before stopping by another person. You've heard that. What was the girl's name? Wendy? I want to say it might not be Wendy. The childhood
Celeste?
friend. Celeste. That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
Celeste. Celeste had been feeling unwell and had not been receiving visitors. You tried to see her a couple of times through normal channels, but that isn't working. So you figured, while the folks were out and all the adult folk were at work, you would maybe sneak in to go and visit her while she is not feeling well. Climbing out the window, you make your way across the courtyard. And as you do, you see someone sneaking and skulking around in the gardens surrounding Celeste's room.
Is it anyone that I recognize?
It is not.
I will sneak up on them.
All right, make a stealth check. And Quinn, can you make a perception check? All right. Quinn, you are not so easily snuck up on. As you
I haven't mastered stealth yet.
that's fair. As you as
I
Quinn
draw my dagger and I turn.
as you turn, you see a rich young man with a backpack filled with books and armed with a rainbow-colored quill.
Still in his hand, holding his hands up. Oh.
Sorry, when people sneak up on me, I put my dagger away. I kind of figure they have a bad intention, and I look very pointedly at the rainbow pin. I must have made a mistake.
I was curious. I was coming to visit a friend. I was not expecting her to have any other visitors. May I ask who you are? What you're doing here?
Before you're able to answer, Quinn, the window to Celeste's room opens. As she leans out, she sees two people. And she says, oh, she's kind of dressed in like her night attire. It's not underwear, but it's something you don't really receive people of noble stature with. But she was never really like that. Patrick, as she sees you, she seems to perk up, beaming from ear to ear. How do you feel about seeing her in her night attire?
So Patrick is not really. He tends to be oblivious to things that other people would think of as either in the romantic realm or not. She's in her bedroom. Of course she's in that. And she hasn't been feeling well. So
Yeah, think less romantic and more propriety.
yeah. Propriety, he would. I mean, he's been raised to think of those proprietary things, and so would probably just kind of glance slightly away and say, "Oh, Celeste, I was coming to check and see if you were feeling better. It seems you are."
Padre, it's so good to see you. Please, come in. I haven't had a visitor in some time. And bring your friends.
Sure.
She goes back into her room, and Quinn, you have the invitation.
Patrick will look over. You're not planning to rob them or anything, right? I mean, strange person I just met in the garden.
No, I am not.
Okay.
But I am most curious about your friend.
Celeste? I mean, she's someone I've grown up with. She's just Celeste. I mean, curious in what way?
I've heard she was unwell.
Yeah, she's been under the weather. Right? It happens.
Well, let's go check on her.
All right.
By all means, that's why I am here in the first place.
As you climb in, you see her room is in no sign of her being sick. She doesn't seem to cough. She doesn't seem anything but, like she's just spending a lot of time sleeping. As you enter, there is some cakes and cookies next to several pots of tea, that have been cleared from time to time. And she invites you to partake.
I will. Gladly. So, I'm glad to see that you seem to be feeling a little bit better. It's been hard to drop in and check on you.
Yes. No, it's been difficult. I've changed the voice mod. It's just, yeah. It has been difficult. I don't know what's come over me. Mum thinks that perhaps it's some sort of possession or prank by one of the mages.
Well, I mean, I'm heading off to school. I can poke around maybe and see if there's anyone who's been pranking you.
She smiles and she says, thank you.
But
Sorry, I'm not I'm not so accustomed to having gentleman callers.
I mean, it's just me, Celeste. I've been here before.
She kind of lets loose like a sigh a little bit and just seems to let go of some of the because she was like sitting up on her bed and stuff. She just sort of like relaxes a little bit, like yeah.
but I did want to make sure that I drop by before I set off for school. I know, I'll probably be distracted by my studies, but I wanted to make sure that you were on the mend before I left.
She looks fondly and smiles. Quinn,
Yes.
as you look around, you do notice that there is no sign of treatment of any kind of illness. There's no basin filled with water. There's no medication. There's no sign of any doctor having been here before. Apart from the fact that she is in her room, there is no real sign that this person is sick.
I'll look at her and say, "May I get you some tea?"
Oh, yes,
And
please.
so as I'm pouring her tea, I'll just sort of say, "So what makes your mother think it's possession?"
Oh, it's the oilworm. As she says this word, an oilworm is kind of like a song that gets stuck in your head and you can't get rid of it.
Ah.
It's a verse that I can't seem to shake. One that continues to, I don't know, just be there in the background.
And singing it doesn't make it go away.
No, but it does make me feel better. Would you like to
May
hear
I
it?
hear it?
Yes.
Yes, please.
I mean, that's usually the way to get rid of an oarworm is just finish singing it.
Well, Mother suggests trying to keep it locked down, but
Kate of Steel. Serathriel, her cage for years sustained, for enthralled in lost star wall, undead to keep her chained. A spirit first, red war his thirst, still stands at post of old. A second foe, eternal soul, waits high in tower cold. In kennels grime, third brides his time, then vents his killing breath. And on a stone, mid ashen bone, the final dreams of death. The spirits warm and battle torn, and locked in their damnation. The chained one's hold at last grows old and ushers in salvation. Yet hope remains amidst the chains. When Bladestone cage has crumbled, friends to dread and death of dead, the keys to Kazavon humbled. And then several words speak out. The night of the gate. The matron. The wild. The seeker. The child. And the mage. She then says, I think that's all. I'm sorry, but, it does make me feel better to say that out loud.
No
Well,
need to apologize. And I will have been sort of writing it down as I'm facing the teapot away from her.
Is there anything in Padrig's, even at this point, extensive reading of weird stuff that this would have triggered a memory or some sort of knowledge as to what it could be?
Not at all. However, back in the present. Quinn, you recall this encounter. And more importantly, when you left the room with Celeste, she said goodbye to both Patrick and Quinn, knowing your name without you having told her.
Interesting.
Yep. Thank you. Mm.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry.
Your voice is far superior.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So, Holly, Dante, Alexander, and Agnes, you gather around as Quinn's memory is struck. As the song that was said many years ago now returns to your memory. Patrick, you as well, I think, can have this recollection.
And Patrick, having this recollection, will turn to Quinn and just kind of,
Her eyes are really wide and she's looking at you.
holy shit, that was you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a moment of like, as soon as Quinn says the thing, that's when Patrick realizes that yes, that you did know each other then.
Well, seems like fate may have had us in our grasp a little sooner than we realized as far as this is concerned.
What to make of it all?
All right. Well, reflecting on it now, is there anything in Patrick's more extensive reading and studies that can be gleaned from this? Like Serenthal, for example.
Society checks, if you guys would like.
Right.
Yes, please.
And this can go to everyone, by the way.
Okay.
25.
Wow, weird. Just all rolling low.
All right.
Today
And
is just
there's
Alexander's day.
And then there's Agnes.
All right.
Agnes
Dante
always
and
say
Agnes.
this.
It is my speciality.
That's fair. Dante and Agnes, you both know of a sword called Serethriel, a sword that was used to slay a great dragon. Its whereabouts unknown, and that it was indeed fused and mended with the bones of the dragon in which it slayed.
Sorry, I'm just reading the poem again.
So it's a
Yeah, so
sword?
Agnes will pipe up with Celestial, I think it was, yes. Supposedly repaired using the bones of Casaubon himself.
Said to have also been forged by Iomade.
Forged by Iomade, supposedly. But, well, you know, magic weapons are always said to have been crafted by one god or the other. Sorry, I forgot I didn't have my little light thing switched on.
All right, but her cage for years sustained.
In Scarwall.
So you think the sword is there?
I mean, if that
That was the song.
yeah. It's
Dad, can you share the song again? I accidentally shut it down.
No. Okay, yes, I can.
Um,
Okay,
so it
one moment.
sounds. So turn to the sun shaman though. Have you heard of this sword?
The Sun Shaman says, no. From what the previous Sun Shaman said, all of the survivors did not share where they had gone
Was
or
it?
what became of
And-
each piece.
Okay.
And was it ever known what happened to Mandravis? I mean, you said that
He-
the keep had been left in his control, but did he just, pass from old age, or?
Unfortunately, the tribe did not keep in contract with Mandravis. Belkzen is a difficult land, to say the least. Regular trips were not advised.
So it is possible that if it was he who used the sword to slay Casabron in the first place, it is very possible that it lies there with him still, perhaps.
Perhaps.
I mean, if we think of this verse, it sounds like there is a weapon that is chained up in Scarwall and is guarded by the undead. It's a good way to keep people from getting it, I suppose. Could explain one of the reasons so
And
many
they
people
do
are keen
say
to
the place is
capture
haunted.
Scarwall. Yeah. And I mean, if there's a legend or rumor of a legendary weapon locked somewhere in the keep, that could explain why so many people are always fighting for it.
Sounds like something.
Perhaps. What was that, Holly?
But-
Sorry, dear.
It sounds like something we should be going to get.
Yes.
It sounds like something to investigate, yes. I mean, if we think that parts of Kazavran may be able to destroy parts of Kazavran, the other possibility is that if a piece of Kazavran meets another piece of Kazavran, they don't destroy each other, but they merge into more Kazavran. But let's be on the hopeful side of that. But I can't imagine, thinking back, that hearing this and hearing this with Quinn, us being here now, it seems, loath as I am to say something along these lines, but as if fate has been playing a hand and guiding us here. I can't imagine it's a coincidence. There's some reason that she had that song in her head. There's some reason that we heard it.
I agree. And it made mention of each of us. The song spoke of the night at gate, I think, and of the small one and the seeker. It's as if it were all foreseen or ordained we are all meant to be here and to be together. And I look at Alexander, yes, even you.
Patrick just
can
kind of shakes his head. This is why prophecy
can
annoys me so.
I can understand the Small and Wild's matron and Knight of Gate plus you two, but who would be the seeker then?
I
That
rather
would be
thought that
our
was
furry friend here, says nodding at Dante. Perhaps he still seeks
So
the one
what were
who.
the names again?
yeah, since that's
Above
not
the
on our
table.
little.
The Gated Knight, the Matron, the Wild,
Ah,
the Seeker,
wow.
the Child, and the Mage.
Okay, then yeah.
I guess Quinn's a seeker.
I think so, yeah.
That make me a knight?
Or a mage.
You're the mage.
Yeah, you're the gated knight. Well, I was always intending to be a mage. Still have my old spell book in my pack somewhere. Just never worked out.
What is Iomade is a major goddess, isn't she? But what what is she the goddess of? I heard the
Paladins,
domains.
righteousness, knights,
Justice.
justice, that stuff.
So Agnes will just be like, well, you know what, with this level of shall we say prophecy and visions and whatnot, perhaps Iomade did have a hand in the blade after all.
Yeah, when they get names and are spoken of in myth, whether it was through her herself or inspiration. I mean, I can make magical weapons, but certainly not anything that could slay a dragon. So possibly, regardless of the provenance, whatever that word is, regardless of who made it,
All right.
it can't be coincidental that we know of it, we've heard of it, we're here now. It seems the next step.
Curious about
Yeah.
these undead that supposedly keep the sword chained.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
As
So-
you ponder this from the hinterlands where you happen to be, you must travel. Let me have a look here. Do I have a regional map? There we go. Maybe there's a better one. Let's have a look. Nope. That's fine. This will do. All right. So, as you discuss, right now, our heroes find themselves in the Cinderlands of Varesia, which are over here. The holds of Belkzen lie to the east, a land rife and filled with the orcs. And there, in Belkzen, is Scarwall.
Aha.
All right.
And this is why Padraig leaves the party. He looks at all that water and just goes, you know what?
You know what? No.
Not again. He turns around and walks right home.
Yes, absolutely. Just straight
There
up
be
leaves.
orcas in there.
Just yeets out.
He sees that. Nope. Fuck that.
All right.
Done that. Not doing it again.
Fair. Well, the journey to the east should prove to be quite a trek. Not only because obviously it takes you further away from Corvosa, but also it seems to be like your first big step in ending this. You now have a clear and concise plan to deal with the Queen for the first time since her reign began.
It's almost as if there's a glimmer of actual hope instead of just
Blind hope.
hoping that we'd figure something out. I mean, it seems like we've actually figured something out at this point.
Correct. The Sun Shaman ponders for a moment before speaking. If you truly wish to journey to Scarwall, then you will need to navigate Belkson. To do this, you must speak to someone who has been there before. There is a man, one you can speak to. He lies 2 days east of here. But be warned, he does not treat kindly with strangers, but he knows the land of Belkson better than most. Oh, sorry, she knows the lands of Belkson better than most.
Well, that's okay. I do deal kindly generally, so
As long as
I'm
I
sure
don't do
it'll
the
be
talking,
fine.
we should be fine.
That's
All
right.
right.
Agnes
Oh,
should speak.
Patrick, you know, you don't give yourself enough credit. That
I
time in the
appreciate
drug
that.
den when I was all, seeing elephants and whatnot, just being quite frankly useless. You did all right. You did well.
Yeah, well, I'd like to get
Not
the
everyone that can
balance.
get information out of somebody that's, off their tits, as they say.
Sometimes it's easier when they're off their tits. They're a little less guarded. You know.
Well, fair.
Well, turn back to the Sun Shaman. Is there any other information that you can think of that might be helpful to us? You've done so much for us already, and we do appreciate it. I think we've got some direction, but if there's anything else that you know of that could aid us.
I do not have any more information, but can provide you with the blessing of the tribe.
We'll take that gladly.
Long story short, this will involve tattoos. Does anyone want to get a Shawanti tattoo?
Oh yeah, tap me up.
Me.
All right, Shawanti tattoos for everyone.
Yay!
Okay. It is a 2-hour process,
Sure.
and you are given these tattoos as a sign of your long journey. Any who witness it will recognize you as members of the Shawanti tribes.
Yeah.
I'm
Alright.
down with it.
Okay, bear with me for 2 shakes while I very quickly tell you what this does.
Level 11.
Level 11. Hell yeah.
Just go up 2
We
levels.
still
Oh,
have
yeah.
those other
I was
weird
gonna say, we're level
tattoos from
9.
last time, don't we?
Oh, that
Did
was
we
just
not
the
get
war
like
paint,
a
right?
lust? No, did we not get like tattoos?
We got
No,
the.
that
got,
was
like,
more
the-
Is mine
Thrall
not
Keeper
lust
brand.
or something? We got a Thrall
Yeah, the
Keeper brand.
brand. Yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah, that's the brand. Yeah, that's a little
Not
different.
an ink, that's scarification.
Yeah. Okay. Ritual takes 2 hours. The shaman chants and taps you with a kind of a poisoned needle.
Con saves for everybody.
No, you don't need it. It basically is a mixture of a bumped scar mixed with ink that they begin to tat you with. Yada yada yada. It seems to take the visage of the sun. And in doing so, gives you a +2 to a stat of your choice. As he then blesses you, saying, "Truly these friends of the sun are blessed by our ancestors. They walk with the spirits and bear the mark of the tribe. They honor us with their presence and their friendship, as they go forth to battle the evil which plagued these lands of ash for many scores of generations. They go now, not alone, but with the power of the entire Sklar Qua behind them. They will go forth with the power of Father's Son in their hands." In addition to this, you infuse your weapons or armor, up to you. Basically allowing you to negate the effect of a failed death effect and instead become stunned for 1 round. In addition, your weapon can now burn away the soul, dealing damage to the spirit realm as well, giving ghost touch to a weapon of your choosing.
Whoa, cool.
Man, that would sure would be useful if I had a weapon.
It's
I
fair.
was say, great, now I can bonk ghosts for like 3 damage.
Yeah. Well, Dante, I would probably say that your claws would count.
Okay.
Later on, you head out.
Would you be able to post that in the Discord, please,
I wrote it all
so I
down.
can make sure that I know all the effects correctly?
Sure.
And do you apply that like +2 straight away? Oh,
Yes, apply the +2 straight away to any stat of your choice. And I will just
How do
write
we-
this down.
The
hmm.
typical
I think we
choice.
gotta. I think we had to put it in the misc
Oh.
plus minus.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. It is only a +1. It is a +2 in first edition, which is the equivalent of a +1 in second.
Oh,
I still can't
plus
figure out
one
how to.
doesn't. It's got to be in the misc plus minus, because you can't actually change stats. That's the only way I can figure out how to do it.
Yeah, you'd need to add into the +-.
Yeah, plus one does not affect any stat at all.
Let me have a look here.
Plus two adds a +1 to our stat.
Yeah, because you're still technically getting a base of like 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's provided for legacy data. Okay, yeah, so yeah, you'd need to give it a +2. Sorry, in the legacy stuff. So yeah, where it says
Yep.
miscellaneous, just give it a +2.
+2.
Ooh, what do I do?
Can I do +1 on 2 different ones, or it's got to be +2 to 1?
The +2 will give you a +1 bonus.
Okay.
That is a tough choice.
It is because I like to try and sometimes keep things thematic. So through this, I think Agnes's constitutions might have gone up a little bit, but I think might also her dex, like her
See,
avoiding of.
I want to throw it in my intelligence for more spell power.
All right. Well, while you guys are working on this, let's keep moving on with the story, shall we? You
Yes.
leave the Shoanti tribes and begin to make your way back out into the Badlands, heading towards the east as you quickly make your way towards the outskirts of Belkzen. The night is cool, and the warm fire that lies before you offers you some measure of comfort. Never before considering yourself to be honorary Shoanti barbarians, there's something about the land that seems to have changed. It's less unfamiliar, less hostile and foreign, now more feels like a home away from home. Patrick, with the memory fresh in your mind, you seem drawn to the quill that your father gave you all those years ago. Still in your person.
I will reach into my magical pocket
Mm-hmm.
where I keep this sort of thing. Root around in there, concentrate on it, pull it out. As well as my old spell book.
As you begin to look at it, memories of your late father. A stern man, but an honorable one, sprout in your mind. You feel a certain hollowness. You never considered never seeing him again. It was always a case of you never wanted to. But knowing the mantis attacked your home, part of you wonders, were you only content knowing that you could never see your father because of choice? Now that that's been taken away from you, are you truly upset, sad, angry?
It's difficult. And I think Padrig, especially having gone through that hallucination with the Red Mantis assassin, it is indeed one thing to choose not to see someone. It's safer. It's a safer way because you can always change your mind. But when they're gone, that choice is taken away. And so there's still anger there that he was never accepted by his father on his own terms. He always had to try and meet his father's terms to be accepted, and always fell short because that's not what he wanted. But there's that sense of loss in that being at a point where he's felt that he has proven and continues to prove himself that he can do and live the way that he wants and accomplish things. He can't ever go back in a more secure state and deal with any of that. It's a sense of sadness mixed with anger. It's a very complex emotion. And he's not quite sure how to deal with it.
All right. The night continues onwards. Could I have a perception check from everyone, please?
Hell yeah, natural 20.
I'm feeling perceptive.
All right. Holly, Quinn, Alexander, and Agnes. Pretty much a lot of you. In the middle of the night, you hear a noise coming from outside. A figure seems to sit by your fire, dressed and clad in red. A helmet that bears the mark of the red mantis placed by the side of the fire. He pokes and prods at it, keeps it nurtured. The figure is not human. The figure appears to be an orc.
What the hell?
What do you do?
I know my perception was not that great, but am I aware of this person now?
I will peek out
Only
and
if
see it
others. Oh, sorry. Only
Yeah,
if
I'm gonna-
others bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
sneak back in and tell everybody. There's an orc out there, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I'm just, and I'm like fastening the buttons on my pants, grabbing my sword.
Oh, okay.
Alexander's
That's
put
that.
How long does it take to put armor on since you have to take it off in order
A
to
little
get
while.
a good rest? Yeah. I'll meet you guys out there. Don't start the fight without me as he's trying to hurry put his armor
Well,
on.
Hopefully
Well, we don't know
perhaps
it's a
can-
fight yet. I mean,
Right, we might be able to avoid that.
he hasn't
Yeah.
just stabbed us all while we're asleep, so
No, he's just
Alexander stops and looks in everybody's direction. Really? You really think we're going to be able to avoid a fight tonight?
I don't know. We met a friendly gnoll.
hope
Could be a
so.
friendly orc. Look,
It's true.
weirder things have happened. I mean, honestly,
I'd rather be
and
safe than
looks at
sorry.
Alexander. We've fought alongside you. We've fought alongside a gnoll barbarian. We fought alongside an undead champion of the goddess who hates undeath. At this point, I'm not really surprised by much. So
Holly
if
is
there's
going.
if they are just sitting out there, then there's a reason that they have not attacked. Did they mention that it was a red mantis assassin?
Not yet. So far, all they've said is there's an orc out there.
he's wearing red mantis garb.
Now
I'll
they have
add that
mentioned it.
now.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
and-
Well then,
Meanwhile, I'm going to just step outside. Can I help you with something?
yeah, and Patrick will be like, if there's an assassin and you're not assassinated yet, then there's something else in play. But I'm still taking well, actually I don't need to take my gun. I will go out unarmed. Because I can just
Ooh.
summon it.
All right. As you head out and ask if there's something he needs, he says, "Well, that entirely depends. I don't need anything. But you all seem to have found yourselves in quite a tangled web. Queen Iliosa wants you dead, and has worked with many red mantis in order to try and secure the death of a select few people. I'm sure you can imagine the great Akachek doesn't take lightly to the demise of so many of its kind. Those who worship the great assassin god. are those trained in the art of stealth and subterfuge, and of course, murder. So, curiosity became me to know the caliber of the people that slew so many of my brothers and sisters, and what reason begets such importance that so many red mantis lives are wasted.
Well, as far as the Queen is concerned, our best guess is she's under the sway of a powerful undead dragon who's trying to take over the world. She sees us as a threat. Well, we are trying to be a threat. We're of the mind that a powerful undead dragon taking over the world is generally bad for everyone. And so we're seeking to stop it. We've seen her casually cause death, mayhem, and destruction in the city that we call home. And have decided that that is not the sort of leader that we want for our city.
I thought you were going to go with what casually seeing her just pull a crossbow bolt out of her face, but you know.
But we know she's responsible for, ultimately, the entire Blood Veil, the plague that slaughtered people indiscriminately, particularly those who are unable to afford any means to fend for themselves or cures from clerics or what have you.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I'm not a fan of widespread, mindless killing. It is in our order's best interest to ensure that our execution of our tasks are precise. We kill who we mean to, precisely when and how we mean to. To simply unleash a plague upon a small town in order to wipe out a populace is crude. Though some of my order saw it fit to be able to go along with the Queen's plans, others, like myself, were not so eager. And what would you do once the Queen is dead? Would you take over? Would you simply allow the throne to remain abandoned?
No, we would have to install the right person. Surely there's someone in the royal bloodline that's an heir.
Oh,
That's
you know, we could
not
have a wee
enthralled to a
vote.
dragon.
There may be even a
Have a wee
way.
vote. No?
There may be a way to stop her without necessarily killing her. If she was under the thrall of another being, we remove the source of that enthrallment.
You would try and save her rather than kill her.
If it's the best way to save the city, it's a good
Yeah,
first
I
try.
mean, and also, it entirely depends on whether she put the thing on her head, you know, intentionally. Because if she did that, then she doesn't really deserve to be queen still. But I mean, if it was a wee accident, then
Sometimes it is easier to cut out a cancer than it is to cure it.
I can agree with
That's true.
that.
That's true, but that doesn't mean that you can't at least check and see if you can cure it before you start to cut. If the cutting is the end result, then the cutting will be done. Make no mistake. I have no qualms about killing those who need to be killed.
I'm glad you see it that way. I'm sure you all by now believe that I may possibly have desires to kill you and your friends as per the actions of the other members of my order. Rest assured, my duties are done. I am on my way back home. But I needed to find out who killed so many of my brothers and sisters before I left. And offer, I suppose, fair clarity. To claim that all of the assassins are responsible for the death and destruction you have seen wrought up until this point is not entirely accurate. The ones who had been responsible for spreading the plague are long gone. A small group who are dead before you and your comrades seized control of the city and even found a cure. The Red Mantis who attacked the tribesmen were also under the instruction of the Queen in order to keep an eye on an ally from the Feywilds. None of which were your enemy in particular, but much like the cancer, needed to be quelled, lest you lost your own lives. I, however, was tasked with one thing and one thing only: to kill a specific group of people. Those who are in the city, those whose duty I now have fulfilled in executing my orders. As he opens his jacket, you hear the sounds of coins dropping. And you see that these coins aren't coins at all, but more silver and gold buttons. He drops them and they clank like raining treasure onto the floor. As Patrick gets a glimpse of them, you recognize these buttons. These buttons are from multiple different noble families. Each of the different buttons has a different house seal on it. But it's not just the nobles. It's the staff. It's the groundskeepers. It's the maids. It is the cooks. And nestled around there, you remember the scene of your father coming in and handing you the quill with the rainbow feather in it. And you remember he was always very proud of these golden buttons bearing your crossed insignia. He wore them not only over his shirt, but as cufflinks as well. And you see the pair of cufflinks among these assorted bits of trinkets and jewelry that he now lays at his feet.
I see. So my family's accident was not accidental.
He simply shakes his head, but he keeps his eyes bright red fixed upon you.
And am I the last on your list?
He stands, and as he does, his quite physical and lean build betrays not the form of a orc who trains in strength and power, but of agility and guile. He turns and he says, "My task was to kill the nobles within the city. And as you can see, we are not near a city. But I have a mode of pride. And that is to find the true nature of people to unearth it. So tell me, if I spare your life, what would you do? Would you hunt me down? Seek me out? Draw your pound of flesh?
Patrick takes a look down at the feather in his hand. And will say, I can't honestly tell you. I never got on with my father all that well. I was cast aside for convenience because my situation would have caused problems for him in trying to gain more power, political power, what have you. It's not anything that I've ever sought. My mother allowed it to happen. Only my sister. And is my sister, is there any, as far as I know, my sister survived, right? Because she was not in the city.
Correct.
Only my sister still held out any sort of connection or conversation or scintilla of caring about what had happened to me amongst those in my family. The rest either stood by or agreed. It's a difficult thing to have those who should be the ones that you can trust most not listen to you, not trust you, and toss you aside for their own gain. I assume my sister still lives. She's not in the city. She is not in line for any sort of political sway. Will I seek vengeance?
He corrects you. Your sister wasn't in the city.
Are you saying that she is now? And are you saying that you killed her as well?
You look at his belongings, the trinkets and stuff. There's nothing from your sister that is there. But the thought that she is in the city currently, likely having heard that your parents had died, she's likely gone back, which makes sense for your sister. But if she is back as the last heir to that noble house, the queen will go for her.
Oh, fuck. To answer your question quickly, with all the thought that I can give it right now, I don't have time for revenge. I'm not going to abandon everything and go hunt you down. I can't say that the thought will never occur to me. No one ever knows what's in the future. But right now, it's a luxury that is not one that I can afford. It's not something I've ever really given much thought to. I've never thought it very useful. Doesn't do anything except maybe make you feel better. And that's debatable. Doesn't bring my family back. Doesn't bring any of the other families back. Doesn't stop the Red Mantis from being an organization to take one of them out.
And if you could stop the Red
Take out-
Mantis, that is.
Well, that's an entirely different question that you're asking. If I could get rid of a guild of assassins that exists to kill people for money without any real thought about whether it's the right thing to do or not, but whether they get paid. Yes, if I had that opportunity, I think I would take out the Red Mantis, if I could.
Then let me open that door for you. I have received vision from the great Akachek that the Red Mantis have fallen from their duties of the divine nature and have fallen sway with the influence promised by Iliosa. The chapter in Corvosa must be purged. But I don't want others. I only seek to travel with the last heir and survivor of your house. If you find the opportunity to exact your revenge and, as you say, feel good, then it'll keep my senses sharp to have you by my side. Sharp enough to ensure that the duty is done.
Patrick just kind of takes a deep inhale. I have been plagued by that order. They have hunted me simply because someone else wanted me to die. I would gladly take the opportunity for others to not have to feel that constant looking over their shoulder, that worry that someone somewhere for their own purposes just wants them out of the way and they have enough money to make it happen. If you're offering what I think you're offering, and he looks at his companions, I know we have a goal right now. And I thought it was my job to go with you to find that. But maybe, just maybe, when I think about it, I wasn't really on that list. I'm not a knight, I'm not a mage, not much of a seeker, wild, no longer a child, certainly not a matron. If we can strike at a part of her power in the city while you go and get this item that we seek, I think it can only help. I don't think I can pass this up.
Agnes walks up to you and she puts her hand on your arm and she goes, Patrick, that's all very well and good. But what I'd like you to do for me is I'd like you to go back to the city for your sister. If killing all the red mantises within the city happens as well, that's fair enough. But let your purpose be for your sister.
Well, and it will be because, like me, if the queen knows that she's in the city, then she's a target.
Exactly.
They need to be stopped. Then it removes a tool that perhaps she's been over-reliant on.
Adrig, if you do this, crush them.
Well, that is the goal, isn't it? And he'll turn to the stranger. All right. I will go with you. And I will help you. I can't
He's-
say what will happen after we're done, but till there, I will walk by your side.
He nods and says, "One last thing. If you were to come with me, you shed your name. Everything about it dies here, and you can never reclaim it."
It's not the first time that's happened.
He nods at you out of respect. And the orc and Padrick will take their leave. Padrick, at this point, anything you wish to leave behind with the group, you do so as you make your way back to Corvosa to destabilize and put down the Red Mantis order.
Well, I had some padded armor I was going to give to Dante because he's got absolutely no armor.
Sure.
Um,
We'll put it
and
in
I will,
we'll put it in Discord
yeah.
post game, but yes, you'll have we'll go through some of that stuff as well. Also, in case we do have the $100 donation for the farewell items, we'll also keep them.
I can leave that behind too.
Yeah, we can leave that behind too.
Agnes will also ask Padraig to, while you're there, try
I'll check
not to
on
draw
Gan for
attention
you.
to. No, my daughter. Check on Justina.
I
Try
will
not
check on
to
her as well.
bring too much attention to her, but just, you know.
Of course. This is going to be a quiet mission.
Ollie's gonna
She
hug
just-
Padrick.
Yeah. Pat you on the cheek. You're a good man, Patrick.
Thank you. You've been amazing people to be with. I look down at Holly. Try not to get eaten again, okay?
It's not my fault,
Go-
Padrick. And you
look,
got eaten
go-
once.
That was a sandworm, and that doesn't count. But I saw you turn into a T-Rex, so you do the eating.
I'll do my best.
Eat them for me.
I'll go. Say farewell to Dante. It's been good traveling with you. You've kept us alive. You've kept everyone alive and together. Keep them safe. I know you will.
And I'll
I'll turn to
continue doing
Alexander.
as much as I can.
I'll turn to Alexander and offer his hand. Not ready to hug Alexander. I still don't agree with, well, much about you, except for your motivations. But I'm sure your sister's a target as well, and so I think this will help her. If I can, I will let her know you're on your way. And
Alexander
then I'll
will
turn.
take his hand
Yep.
and shake it.
He'll turn to Quinn. You keep them together? Or, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange, but we heard and we found and met each other before any of this started. It's strange that our paths crossed again, setting us on this path. I feel strange leaving you behind. I don't know that.
I look around at everyone else. I feel I'm meant to go help.
Not yet. I've got yours coming.
Okay.
I wish that was the case, but I feel that you still need to keep them on the path. You're the leader. You're the one who's found the way through all of this. You know, quietly, as is your way, but still, I don't think we would have made it this far if it was not for you, for your insights, and your ability to get us out of scrapes. Take care of them.
You take care of you.
I will, and I will take care of our city. And perhaps when you guys are ready to come, it will be a bit more welcoming. And he'll give Quinn a hug. And turn and follow the assassin.
The two disappear into the night. What becomes of them, we will find out. Because I will be inviting Padrig to do a one-shot with me by himself, covering the death of the Red Mantis Order with Padrig, which will be available for Patreon view only, sadly. But it'll be at a later date. But that brings a wrap to our dear friend Padrig. Can we just take a quick moment of appreciation for all of the amazing contributions Padrig made to this adventure, ranging from, of course, his unrelenting ability to seize advantage in battle, to his timeless fortitude and mental acuity to keep his team safe and to continue to overcome challenge after challenge, time after time. Padrig has endured loss, has endured being framed, but has always remained someone who has, throughout everything, kept his team and his heart safe. And on to his next big adventure.
Been a blast, everyone.
But we're not
Bye,
done
Pat.
there. Sorry, what was that? What was that, Mally?
Bye,
Don't let
Patrick.
the door hit you on the way out.
Oh man, fuck that guy. You know? It's how we process. All right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the following morning, our heroes set out. Getting closer to the mountains, the Badlands start letting loose to the array of what look to be orange and brown colored plants and wildlife as it begins to climb up the mountain's side, which separates Varesia from the rest of separates Varesia from the Belkson lands. As our heroes continue to travel, they hear the sounds of what appear to be horse hooves chasing them from behind. Now, apologies if the personality or the accent changes at any point in time. Only because this character we will get to know more about next time we encounter. But as our heroes are walking up and over the mountains, there is a very poignant shout coming from behind. Hey! Hey, you there! Slow down! You see what looks to be a bird riding a horse.
That's not something you see every day.
I was about to say the exact same thing. So, I guess we hold up in our tracks.
As you do so, the individual eventually catches up. Whew! Whew! Wow, that was... Sorry, it's It's been quite a long ride. I'm looking for a group of adventurers. They're from Corvosa. They match mostly your descriptions. I'm looking for Quinn.
I'll raise my hand and say, yeah. What's up?
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I've been riding for 5 days. I'm so sorry. He watches the bird dismounts from the horse and walks over. There's word for you from the city. I didn't get the name of the person who gave me the letter, but he was insistent that I ride hard and fast and find you. Paid me a tidy sum to do so. I even used my fastest horse. No faster horse in the land. Oh, right, sorry, here. You get handed a black letter.
Thank you. I'll tear through it and pull the letter out.
There is a severed finger that falls out.
Oh. I pick it up gingerly.
As you look at the finger, it seems... do you have, like, blood biography or the investigation stuff?
Let me see what I got. I don't think I have blood biography. I would remember that. I mean, I've got my usual investigator, like that's odd, or that whole...
Sure. You inspect it. Make a perception check as you begin to inspect the severed finger.
So you rode all this way to deliver me a finger? Give me the
The
finger.
bird seems to have no idea. Yeah, he's like, the bird has no idea what's going on.
Right.
Absolutely none. But the severed finger that you now hold in your hand, you recognize a few different things. Calluses. Looks to be from maybe a man in his late 40s, perhaps.
Somebody who's used arms a lot, perhaps.
Probably, maybe.
Weapons with the calluses.
Oh, definitely.
Can I tell anything?
Definitely. Someone who is quite skilled with a blade, likely.
Who gave this to you? Is there any missive inside, or just the finger?
Just the finger. It was a man. He was dressed in bright red. He gave me this and said that the next one's coming soon, or something like that. I'm sorry. I only got the letter, and I thought that it would say more.
I understand. I'm gonna just wait there, and I'll get you a tip.
Oh, thank you. I'm just sorry. I'm just feeling a little bit. The bird goes over to a bush and just sort of, as realizing they've been traveling with a finger for the longest period of time.
So I'm going to go to Agnes and hug her and say in her ear,
Oh,
I have
sorry.
to go.
Real quick, you will have a chance for a proper goodbye. The bird person is well and truly out for a little
okay.
while. Don't
All
feel
right.
rushed, is what I'm saying.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So I'm going to just say to Agnes, I have to go. And I'll give her a couple of gold coins and say, this is for the bird, but not yet. Wait until I'm gone. Maybe enough to maybe buy a new horse. Gold.
Sure.
Yes, dearie.
And I'm
She
gonna
puts her
I'm
hands
gonna
out. Yeah, she just gives you a massive hug.
I think this has been Carlo. And I think he's in
Oh.
trouble.
I'm sorry, dear. Yes, you must go.
Watch over them.
Oh, I'll try, dearie.
And thank you for everything.
She pats you on the shoulder and she's like, yes, no problem, dear.
I'm going to
You go along now and
head over to Holly and say, I'm going to give her a hug too. Like a real hug. Which I never do, of course.
Holly needs hugs.
And I'm going to say, please don't go too far away from yourself.
Well, but be careful, Quinn. I saw a vision of you getting hung as blackjack. So please, please, please be careful.
Should have known you'd figured it out. A vision, no less. I'll be careful.
Okay.
And I'll go to Dante. You have always been the best. And I might give him a hug too. Quinn's decided not to be a curmudgeon for the moment. Thank you for everything, Dante. For picking me up when I was down. And for being one of the best friends a person could have. And then I'll finally go to
for us as well.
I'll finally go to Alexander and say, I still have a hard time with the fact that you're a Hell Knight, but clearly you are meant to be here and you are doing what you are meant to do. And I'll shake his hand and say, do well by them. They're a good group of friends, the best you could have. And then I'm going to go steal the
And be
bird's
safe so they
horse.
can see you again.
Thank you. And
You quietly make your way over to the
Yep.
to the horse. When I say this horse is fast, I know this horse is fast. It is an 80-foot move speed, and is probably one of the fastest horses in the land. You see a bunch of things in the saddlebag, and do you leave the saddlebag or do you take it with you?
I'll leave the saddlebag.
Okay,
I have my own.
You leave the saddlebag. As you take one last look at your friends, who all seem to look at you, you strike a very impressive figure as you crack the reins and the horse kicks up, lifting both legs into the air as a shadow from behind, as the sun blazes in the sky, casts upon the group as you turn and ride. You begin to make your way with blazing speed towards Corvosa. Across your mind and the minds of your friends are all the contributions of Quinn throughout this adventure. Her sharp mind, her ingenuity, her ability to speak to people and draw out even the most closely guarded secrets through her use of her silvery tongue and her quick wiles. But not only that, but her powerful strength of arms, her blazing lightning blade, which cut quoths through the foes of our heroes, the destruction of great evils uncovered by the inquisitive mind of Quinn, from the dreaded murderer Rolf and his necromantic underlings, to the Deros that lurk in the sewers. Gadron Lamb and the Lambs, now ended in their reign over the city, the children now having an opportunity to properly grow up in a calm and well together environment. And of course, a duty, an honor that Quinn now rides towards, to serve not just as a quiet arbitrator of justice within the city for those who the gods or even who people do not see. Now a spokesperson for the people, a symbol that there are people who are willing to fight for what is right within Corvosa. Quinn, you reach into your pocket and you pull out a very familiar cowl. And mid-ride, don the mask. And suddenly, over the horizon, you hear, "Hey, my horse! Come back! Wait!" Oh, and you watch as the group watches as this bird sort of falls to its like bent knees and just watches their favorite horse just zoom into the horizon. And if I had the theme from like, Zorro, I would totally be playing it right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to end today's session. Again, with very heart-filled farewells, we bid both farewells to Ire and Twiff. We thank you guys for so much for being a part of the table, being our friends, and having such an amazing time with us. As we know, game tables sometimes they change, schedules are tough and things, and rest assured, if and when I finally stop fucking traveling, I'll be examining my schedule to see if there are other games we can invite you guys to, because that is something I would absolutely love to do. As you guys know, there is a one-shot that will be happening for the Patreons, and a few Patreons from the different Patreon groups actually are going to be featuring there, and Patrick and Quinn will be on that, along with Schoolii, Calindria and Metbrecca, and OG Lava Kitten. So there will be a one-shot that'll happen a little bit later on in the month, which will be released. So be forward to look for that. And the second is I will be doing a one-shot, a private one-shot for both Ire and Twiff, should the time allow, which I'm hoping it does, where they will both be going after the Red Mantis assassins in the city. And if they succeed, will impact this game by having, of course, the Red Mantises taken care of before our heroes return to the city of Corvosa. But that will be specifically, the two of you guys. Because, yes, the Red Mantis will have had Vencarlo, and you will then reunite with Patrick, and the two of you guys will get to do that. So yeah. So, and no, by the way, the other people I mentioned are not leaving groups. The one-shot is actually part of the reward for the Fortune Dragon. So the one-shot is a completely separate adventure, not these characters, other characters. More details to come. You don't need to worry about that. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So lots of cool stuff lined up, lots of cool stuff happening. Once again, I do want to give everyone like a bit of a PSA as well. Whenever it comes to players leaving a table, or whenever it comes to characters being written out, I do like to make sure that we take a moment to truly appreciate them. Not because I'm trying to, butter them up or anything like that, but just because for me, the importance of a character, these are artworks. These are people putting their creativity and their storytelling on display. And unlike a home game where we get to enjoy this in the comfort of our home and get to enjoy snacks and hang out and do stuff, when we are here in this space online, sharing it with our lovely audience, sharing it with each other, I think it is even more important to do that, to be able to say that we were able to enjoy and take this time with one another to tell an amazing story. And to both Twiff and Ire, I wish the two of you guys all the fucking love and all the best games in the world. If you ever find yourself pining or without a game for too long, please let me know. It does not matter if it is paid or not. Just let me know, and I will make sure that you guys are never too far without games, because you guys are truly a pleasure to play with. thank you for doing this this fun, amazing thing with me and with your characters. Yeah.
And
Thank
thank you, really.
Yep.
Aw, thanks, guys.
It's the GM that
Like I said,
makes the story possible.
That's
so.
right. And you are amazing.
Oh, well, that means a lot. All right, we did lose Dante, which I'm pretty sure is for the internet because he dropped out of both Zoom and Discord simultaneously. So, you know, I don't want to stay here and be too mushy for too long. So, on behalf of the whole table, thank you to the both of you. Thank you to, of course, our wonderful audience members. Thank you to, of course, my other players as well, Dante, Alexander, Holly, and Agnes. Of course, as we said prior to the game, this is going to be a very Quinn Padraig heavy session. So I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride and being able to have that really meaningful farewell to these characters. So thank you guys. You guys are amazing. As for what we're going to be doing now, we are going to raid because we are on a Monday and there should be some people to raid. I hope there are people to raid. God, it's been one of those things. I feel like every time I've tried to raid, people just haven't been up to stuff. Let's see. Phoenix Iwaki's up. That's looking like a Phoenix raid. Hell yeah. Let's go hang out with our dear friend Phoenix Iwaki, who is doing Tomb of Annihilation. Phoenix Iwaki is a wonderful streamer. He does a lot of charity work in and around the TTRPG space. We are very appreciative of people who, like myself, put a big focus on how games can improve and help the world around us. And Phoenix is one of the best people for that as well. So I know that you're going to be in capable hands. So thank you guys for coming and joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. As always, my name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. You can find it here a number of times during the week doing silly, wacky, fun things. And until we meet again, from us to you, stay safe, stay wonderful, be kind to each other because why the fuck not? It's free. And as always, game hard or die trying. Bye, folks!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.